It appears that Diddy's former physician has come forward to reveal that Diddy reportedly gave HIV to Justin Combs. The internet is also in disarray. Rumor has stated that Diddy has HIV and spreads the virus at his small freak-off parties like party goodies. It now appears that his own son may have been involved in the drama. As if things couldn't get any crazier, some fresh information has surfaced that confirms Diddy and Justin supposedly had threesomes together as part of a wider freak-off group. Additionally, this madness has a lot of layers. Let's dissect this. Drama then. It appears that Diddy's own physician just disclosed Diddy's true health status, claiming that Diddy is HIV positive. Now it is said that Diddy has been receiving treatment from this specialist for a considerable amount of time. As you are all aware, he has receipts and some tea to support his story. Let's take a moment to discuss how fans realize something was wrong with them long before anything was revealed, before we even go into this exposure and begin to analyze all the drama. People were now speculating about a variety of topics, claiming that he might not be feeling well or that a more serious health issue was affecting him. HIV swiftly rose to the top of the list of circulating rumors, even though no one at the time had the whole picture. Now, some suspected his weight loss was due to cancer or a host of other illnesses, while others said it was simply worry. However, when word spread that Diddy had to be taken to the hospital several times while incarcerated, the suspicions really began to boil up. And as you are well aware, it must be really serious for them to transfer a well-known prisoner like Denny to a hospital. They don't do that for no reason, either. People quickly began to speculate that whatever he was dealing with had to be much more serious than stress after learning that he was frequently hurried out of medical appointments. At that point, there were whispers and speculations that he was suffering from a disease. Even while nobody was certain of its exact nature at first, everyone was certain that it had to be something significant. However, nothing could have foreseen this or how dire things could get. You see, it wasn't until Day appeared in court for the first time during the trial that the HIV rumors truly took off. People weren't exactly expecting him to look his finest because he had already been imprisoned for months at that point. Despite this, folks were still taken aback when he appeared extremely thin, exhausted, and to be honest, unlike himself. At that point, rumors that fans could sense something wasn't right really began to circulate. Soon after, rumors about what was actually happening with him were all over the internet. HIV rumors are at the top of that list. It simply came together so well. However, your admirers were unaware of how accurate they may be. That's when things started to get a little messy. Therefore, a man who is now claiming to be Diddy's old doctor claims that Diddy has had HIV for a long time. The doctor continued by saying that he apparently supposedly had herpes, but we won't get into that because it would be a whole other story in and of itself. However, rumors are circulating that Diddy's frequent hospital appointments weren't coincidental. It allegedly had a lot to do with his condition's problems. Prison officials now make an effort to keep everything under wraps, but you are all aware of how they handle well-known prisoners. Let's face it, someone must constantly visit the blogs, which is precisely how the rumors begin to spread in the first place. And things swiftly got worse after the internet learned about it. As soon as people learned that Diddy had been hurried out of jail several times, they quickly began to piece things together. Since then, there has been constant discussion about what is actually happening. Much of this narrative is already crazy. It's going to get much stranger because, based on fresh rumors, the doctor has also acknowledged that Justin supposedly has HIV. Do you wish to speculate as to how he obtained it? From Diddy, this story is insane, so things are going to become extremely wild from here. Everyone is now curious as to how Diddy was able to infect his own son with HIV. This is where things start to get tricky because, as you are all aware, the timing of this is tense. After all, Diddy and Justin were recently sued for allegedly seeing Tyreek Connolly in 2017. To put it mildly, It was explosive when she recently came out to launch a lawsuit. We will avoid delving into all the legal nuances, as we've all seen enough of that already. But things get complicated here. Tariq says she first connected with Justin on Snapchat when he DM'd her, as you are undoubtedly already aware. She asserts that he promised her a path into the business by utilizing his father's name and platform, namely Revolution TV. She further claims that Justin took care of everything, including booking her hotel, car service, travel from New Orleans to Los Angeles, and an entire rollout. However, it is said to have flipped as soon as she landed. She claims that Justin began chasing her, promoting alcohol and drugs she didn't want. And when she was intoxicated, it developed into something more sinister. She said something that was totally inappropriate. This rapidly worsened though, as she claimed that 3 masked guys entered the room out of nowhere, and that she was unable to identify 2 of them. However, she asserted that despite the fact that the 3rd man was wearing a mask, she could readily recognize him because of his voice and his movements. She also claims that Justin called him Pops at that precise moment, which exacerbated the situation. Therefore, no disguise can conceal that. However, it didn't end there, since Tariq is also accusing the 4 of them of holding her captive inside the house and assaulting her for almost 24 hours from Saturday into Sunday. She claims that after they were finished, they abandoned her at an airport as if nothing had occurred. This is the phase, though, that people start to wonder why they remain buried for so long. She claims that'll keep her silent before the trip. Justin blackmailed her by using intimate photos she gave him on Snapchat. Even while the entire scenario is awful, it essentially supported Lil Rod's allegations that Diddy and Justin were having a very dicky time. Now, Justin wasn't merely an innocent spectator hanging around those freak-offs, according to Lil Rod's lawsuit. According to Lil Rod, Justin supposedly assisted Diddy in setting everything up. ALLEGEDL, why enlisting young women, adult workers, and girls for these private meetings. And it didn't end there, as you guys most likely realized. Additionally, according to Lil Rod, Justin was apparently taking part in these freak-offs rather than only watching from the sidelines, the same as everyone else. However, Lil Rod's lawsuit asserted that Justin's involvement in Diddy's business extended much beyond parties, so that's not even the worst of it. According to Lil Rod, Justin was purportedly tied to Diddy's whole underground operation. The court dog said that Christina Coram, Diddy, Justin, and the other members of the inner circle weren't simply holding crazy parties and calling it a night. They were allegedly running the entire drug pipeline behind the scenes, controlling, pushing, and hiding their tracks while maintaining the appearance of silence. Lil Rod claims that Justin participated in all of this right in front of everyone. This clarifies how he obtained the drugs that Tika said he gave her to keep her unconscious. Word on the street claims that Diddy's antics with Justin went beyond freak-offs. So if you thought this story couldn't get any worse, it's about to get worse. There were allegations that they purportedly experienced freaks on a typical day, even when they weren't performing them. Rumor has it that they have had threesomes with Justin's girlfriends in the past. Not to mention the speculation that Justin might be the father of Diddy's last daughter, Love, in secret. Additionally, admirers have noted how much it resembles him. He has repeatedly boasted about it and referred to her as his twin. This is a heated disaster, everyone. Additionally, it clarifies why Justin's mother, Misa, always criticizes Diddy. In the past, she even alluded to Diddy corrupting his children. "We've all been sitting around pretending that nothing is wrong with you," she stated. "But we all know who is responsible if my son ever experiences anything, God forbid. I ought to have retained my child." Additionally, given that Justin is said to have contracted HIV from Diddy, you can be sure that if word spreads about this, it will be a heated disaster. The internet is finally coming together to reveal the freakouts, crazy parties, and hookups that no one was allowed to discuss. Additionally, The doctor claimed that behind the scenes, Justin was having a breakdown, worried that his personal bedroom secret would be revealed. Because, as most of you are already aware, once someone begins speaking, they never stop. They always have layers to their story. Following threesomes, blackmail, and HIV, it appears that this is a really awful moment to be a Justin. Let's be honest here. What else is buried if this is now leaking? And when will everything blow up?